Watauga County, North Carolina. A land of beauty. Rolling hills. Acres of farmland. And a thriving economy. Seems like the ideal place to raise a family. In this land of plenty, there is a hidden challenge facing families in the high country.
For many people in the social work profession, we usually have referred to one of the big issues as hunger. These days it's actually referred to as food instability, and that's recognition that there are a lot more people who actually aren't able to meet their food needs every day.
Who do you picture when you think about hunger? Is this the face you see? Perhaps you pictured this face.
The face of hunger in Watauga County, the face of hunger across our nation is multiple, is the best way to put it. There is no one face.
Food instability is something that you will see in every single community. You will see it from families that are served by homeless shelters. You will see it in terms of families that get served by Hunger and Health Coalition in this community, which is an actual food pantry. But you also will see it in terms of people that look like they have their everyday needs met. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a perspective that was actually developed by Abraham Maslow, and it's used not only by social workers but also by other human service professionals, and it's a way to assess and understand people's levels of needs. It actually visually forms a triangle, or rather a pyramid. At the lowest level of need are what are known as physiological needs. Usually classified in this category are water, air, and food. Actually look at applying that to children. For instance, in our school settings, school social workers and counselors, those in the helping professionals working with a lot of kids in the schools, will recognize that kids oftentimes can't focus on what might be the self-esteem needs in terms of academic performance because they may be coming to school hungry.
I got yelled at by the teacher again. She wanted me to finish my math work, but my stomach wouldn't stop growling, and I just couldn't concentrate.
Talking to someone from one of the local schools, they go through more food on Monday morning than they do any other time of the week through Mondays, because a lot of kids come to school and have only eaten one meal a day on Saturday and Sunday. So they go through more food on Mondays than the rest of the week.
When we don't get to take a backpack of food home for the weekend, we sometimes have to skip lunch on Saturdays and Sundays.
I would say the underemployment is one of the biggest reasons that families, kids, men and women go hungry.
The first time I went to the food bank was right after I'd lost my job. I couldn't make ends meet with my husband's paycheck. I always thought I was too proud to accept handouts. But when you face the choice of heating your home or feeding your kids, you learn how to swallow your pride. We were approved for food stamps, but the amount went way down after I found another job. It was almost like we were better off when I wasn't working. But I don't want to live off the government, so I'll work as hard as I can. Right now there's not enough food stamps and there's not enough work hours. So every once in a while, I have to go to the food pantry again.
Some of the reasons families in Watauga County experience hunger, number one, is our poverty rate is nearly 8 percentage points higher than the national average. And the jobs that used to pay people a living wage are gone, and there's such a gap between the living wage and the minimum wage now that with almost 23% of our county living in poverty, and poverty levels at $22,000 a year. A living wage in Watauga County is $52,000 a year. If a mom and a dad, or two parents, work full-time jobs at minimum wage, they make $30,000 a year. So just to fulfill those basic needs, families have to work more than one job, and the unemployment rate is still almost 10%. So something's got to give.
Can't believe we're going to have to move in with my parents. We've been working so hard and it still isn't enough.
This is not what I was expecting when we got married. I've done everything I can and I still can't provide for my wife.
We both work. It's not like we're asking for a free ride. We make too much to qualify for food stamps, but our rent is so high.
The rent has to be paid though. I can go to bed a little hungry as long as we have a house for that bed to be in.
But we shouldn't have to do that. Thankfully, my parents are going to let us stay in their basement.
It's embarrassing having to keep taking from my in-laws.
Because when you have to choose between heating fuel, prescription medication, and food, again, something's got to give.
Winters have been especially tough. Often we had to choose between taking care of the heating bill and buying medicine, or putting food on the table. It was much too cold to go without heat, and we had to have our prescriptions, so we were hungry instead.
This problem isn't going away. In fact, it is getting worse.
We're one of only 9 states with higher household food insecurity rates than the national average. The high country is particularly hard hit, with 21% of our county residents below the poverty line, 5% above the national average. 1 in 8 Americans received help from a food bank last year. In our region, that number is 1 in 6. Neighbors who seek emergency food assistance here often must choose between paying for food and other essentials like fuel, housing, and health care. And 36% of households in this area seek food assistance and that have at least one employed adult, which reminds us that having a job does not equal food security and that hunger's face is rarely what many expect it to be.
It is happening in your community, in your neighborhood, in your backyard. It will take all of us working together to make a difference.